Good morning, everyone. Here is an introduction on your next mini project. It is the map of ancient Greece. Dun dun dun! This one has a hole in it because they made it look like it was ancient. Primary source document. So, I'm going to show you some examples. I'm going to talk about what you need for this project, and then I'll do a little screencastify on how to find the peer review, which is going to have the information on what it is that you need to have specifically like written out for each of the projects, so that if you forget what I say in this message, or you forget after Zoom meetings or whatever, what is it that I need? I'm going to make sure you know where to find those. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the PDFs that I'm going to be sending this week for you to help. Okay, so let's start off with the idea that you will be downloading the PDF for the first chapter out of History Alive that we're going to be using for this unit. You have already, or hopefully almost, finished your flag, which did not have anything to do with the chapters we're reading, just a little bit of an intro into ancient Greece and the city-states. So you will be reading chapter 25, and I understand this is all going to be backwards for you because I am making a video of it, but your documents will not be backwards in the PDFs that I'm sending you. But it is Geography and the Settlement of Greece. You're going to use this map that's on the first page to help you, or you can look up any ancient Greece map examples online, but there will be some others in here that you can use so you have an idea of how to go. Obviously, the examples I have to show you are only hand-drawn examples because in the past, before the pandemic that we're dealing with, we would always allow the hand-drawn examples, okay? It was only paper, pencil, art supplies, so following the classroom art expectations. Obviously, I cannot expect that everybody has printer paper or construction paper at home for you to be able to do this, or art supplies like markers or pens or colored pencils or crayons. If you have all of those supplies and you are feeling really comfortable with your art techniques, then please do it by hand. I think it would look amazing, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but you can age it as well so it looks like it actually came from a time period in ancient Greece. But if you do not have any of those supplies and you do have the ability, the drive to figure out how to do it on a computer program, or you already have one that you've used before for art, then please, online sourcing, online digital copies are totally fine. The only caveat to that is you cannot go onto Google, find a map of ancient Greece, and then just copy and paste it into a Google Doc, because I think I'm going to be able to tell the difference, because there's certain specific things I'm looking for on the map that are not necessarily on a pre-made map. Okay, so all that to say, here are some examples I have for you. This one is one of my favorites, and again, obviously you're looking at it backwards, but this is an example of somebody who drew it, making it look like it was a scrolled scroll, a map that has little images to show different city-states. They have the area above Greece. We've got Macedonia. We have the area, this little part down here, Crete, that is part of ancient Greece. And then we've got our compass rose, and we have a key, and then we have some of the seas labeled, as well as the city-states in here. That's kind of what we're looking for on the maps. Again, it was backwards, so sorry. And this one, very similar idea, a little bit. They actually wrote in Greek writing on here. You can see my little face in there. So they chose to use Greek writing for the different labels, which was kind of fun. But if you choose to do that, please make sure that you also do the English translation underneath, so I know what's what. Not that I can't figure it out, but for our sake. I have a couple others. This is what your project would have looked like in the end, where you had like a big turning in of all of your project pieces. So as you can see, you can do it up and down or side to side. That would be horizontal or vertical, or vertical and horizontal. It doesn't really matter, whatever works for you in the layout that you're choosing. Try to use, like this one has some brighter colors. Just think that in ancient times, if you're making yours to look like an actual aged map from a primary source, you would want it to be a little less bright. Okay, this one is a very nice example as well. So the idea here is you are going to be creating a map of ancient Greece after reading about the geography of Greece. And you're going to include labeled city-states. So you will label the city-states that were options from our flag project. So all of those will be labeled on your map, as well as Sparta and Athens, because those are two very important city-states that we're going to be learning about. If there are other city-states that you want to include in it, that is fine, but at least those need to be labeled. Please make sure to label the bodies of water that are around Greece. Make sure it's as accurate of an outline as possible that you can create. There are so many little islands all around ancient Greece. It's part of it. I am not expecting you to draw count out how many are on the map and put every single one of them, but just the idea, sprinkle a few little islands around there that are going to show off that this is what it looks like. And if it doesn't have to be to scale, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be like, does this look like ancient Greece? It kind of looks like a hand with some fingers coming out of it. Or does it not represent Greece? Okay. It needs to have a title, Map of Ancient Greece or Map of Greece, because you're trying to make it look like it's primary, and they wouldn't have written Ancient Greece on it. And then label the areas like Crete if you get a chance to put Crete on yours, if you have room. If you don't, not that big of a deal. And then make sure there's an outline at the top of the map so that you know where Greece starts and where Macedonia has begun. Okay, this one goes way up high. You could zoom in more and have it start here, like this one, where here's the beginning of it, and up here. Doesn't really need to be a huge amount of what's above Greece, because that's not what we're looking for. And then it also needs to have some sort of extra feature. You could do all of these extra features if you want, or just a few, or one. It needs to have a key or legend, a compass rose, which would be a compass, but you can make it look designed. And then mountains, rivers, and lakes are optional. Okay, so all of those last few things, the key, legend, compass, rose, rivers, lakes, and mountains are optional. But if you really want to get like a credit for it, it would be nice to have at least one of those things, like a legend, and a compass rose would be on a map, so I would probably include those. But the rivers, lakes, and mountains are maybe a little bit harder to find. There's a lot of mountains in ancient Greece, so maybe just put a few little arrows, the little mountain peaks in the areas where it would be, okay? So I think that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for this video, and I will make that little screencastify to show you how to find the different project pieces you need to help you answer some questions you might have, and then we will come back together again on Thursday to talk about this next project, which will be due the next following Tuesday. But we can talk a little bit about it on Tuesday as well, just for intros, okay, and questions. All right. Exciting. Take a plunge into ancient Greece map. Okay, bye.